In 1776, even prior to the signing of the Declaration of Independence, we as a nation understood the need for some type of social security system and instituted Civil War pensions. But it took another 159 years to enact the Social Security Act in 1935. 4 years later, in 1939, we added benefits for spouses and minor children. In 1942, we began sending checks to the first recipients, and 18 years later, in 1960, we began covering disabled individuals. Another 5 years later, the Medicare bill was enacted. Over the next decade, we added a guaranteed cost of living allowance increase, forming the Social Security income program we are all familiar with today. Up until 1994, although slow, our Social Security program as a whole moved consistently forward, providing ever-improving services for its citizens. The agency was transferred to an advisory board, and for the first time in our history, taking a successful humanitarian-based program and putting it in the hands of bean counters. In 2000, the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act was enacted. While on general premise this is an excellent idea, however, eliminating the retirement earnings test entirely guarantees shortcomings. This is in contradiction with the reason for the program, which is to provide a guaranteed basic standard of living for our citizens who are not fortunate enough to secure it on their own. The Medicare Prescription Drug Improvement and Modernization Act of 2003 was not paid for and served only to compound the problem by providing more services to those who could already afford them. The price we are truly paying for these mistakes are quite obvious. Standard policy of denying people who become disabled multiple times, a practice that stands only to significantly worsen the disabling condition at the least and often resulting in death or suicide. A system designed to ensure you're stuck in it. 2 consecutive years guaranteed cost of living increases denied. First time in program history any COLI has been denied, while simultaneously guaranteeing income and benefits for the wealthy. The solution is to implement policies to reduce that number who are in need while sharing the burden across the board and not giving to those who are not in need. Change the tax code to adopt payment of Social Security tax on all income rather than just the first $106,000, and reduce tax liability percentages by 50%. This reduces the financial burden on individual workers, entrepreneurs, and small businesses, while sharing the responsibility of upholding the solvency of this great institution fairly across the spectrum. Incorporate a formula to adjust retirement ages and benefits in association with the career of the individual as it affects their overall lifespan. This makes the system both fairer and more predictable relative to future expected costs to the program and the beneficiary. Find the middle ground between allowing seniors who desire or need to work part-time are able to do so without a reduction in benefits, while not giving checks to millionaires who do not need it. The Ticket to Work program is a program with excellent potential. Unfortunately, at present, it falls short of truly putting as many disabled people back to work as quickly as it could. The number one issue being the healthcare issues of the disabled not being handled properly, expediently, or effectively enough to truly return people back to work as fast as they could be. Addressing healthcare issues quickly and completely, either first or simultaneously with the features of this program is both best for the individual, the overhead of this, and other associated programs in the country as a whole. Please watch the healthcare and other animations in this series to connect all the dots to see the big picture, how we return the United States of America back to its #1 status in the world.